Hello, my name is Guff Guff Guffy. I am someone who's been into Minecraft speedruns as well as watching hardcore for a long time. This was actually a live recorded video on my Twitch, as you can see in my normal camera there. I'm overlaying it with a new camera so I can talk through this video. And this is just a video where I talk about like my experiences and stuff. Talk more about myself because when I'm on stream and I get like into runs, I don't really get much chance to talk about myself. And to be honest, I have so much anxiety that I never really know how to start conversations on Twitch and stuff. I think one of the biggest problems for any like person starting out, which a lot of people know this, is just like, what the hell do I talk about when I have no one in chat? That's why it's good to have like good chatters right at the beginning, and your friends and stuff that can just really support you and give you stuff to talk about. Because otherwise, you're like, why am I going to talk? And especially when you know there's no one there, it's a bit like, so here I'm just like in a village, and I was like, you know what, village is good for hardcore because I'm gonna get a lot of good food. So I might as well play it even if it's a bit slow. There's also an ocean village, so I also know I could go straight into the ocean because magma ravines are better than lava. But anyway, I kind of wanted to talk about what got me into Twitch. Before I was talking about like too much about like what Minecraft, because I got Minecraft back in like 2011, something very late, something very early, I should say. Um, when it was like it basically wasn't even a full game by then. So what got me into Twitch was actually Filzer. I'm from a similar area to him, like just a bit below him in England, and it kind of made the local news that someone was like playing Minecraft. And at that point, I completely stopped for like 7 years. I never did really thought of myself as like going back into Minecraft or involved, but it just like it was crazy, like large news. It was over Facebook and stuff. I since then haven't got Facebook, but it was just kind of surprising that that made the local news. So I looked more into it. And at that point, I had started seeing Minecraft trending a bit more, not just PewDiePie, but other people on YouTube had just kind of like got back into it. So I was like, hey, it looks like it'd be trending. Like, why don't I watch it a little bit? Kind of getting into it, but I hadn't like really tried playing it properly because my account had some problem. Eventually, those got fixed and I got back into it, but it was mostly just watching Filza again after seeing all that news and like learning what Twitch is. I was like, whoa, this is like really interesting and interactive. And like back then, it was soon after his death, that was the news. But he was still having like a chat where you could actually talk to him and interact. Kind of cool, just know someone's on the other side. And kind of cooler now in retrospect that like we've made it as a just like, oh wow, they took the time out of the day to like talk to them, look at the chat more. It doesn't really happen as much now because it's too much. But thanks to Filza, one time they raided this person called Tanisha, known as Tanisha Hogan back then, on Twitch, like the full name. And I was never part of that raid, but she kept coming my suggestion, on my suggested list because Filza was the only person that I watched. I followed some other people, but because of time zones, Filter was the only one I actually was consistently watching. And sometimes not even on my Twitch account, but just on my TV, on Link, just because I just liked watching him. Like, it was really interesting. I was learning a lot about that. And there was this person called, like, Tanisha, and I was like, wow, why is it suggesting her? She's not, like, she doesn't seem to be as switched on, like, as Filter. She doesn't really know what she's doing as much. Then it was very harsh. Not that I knew anything more. I was like, Phil's is so much better, and I think it's always fair to say that too. But she seemed nice, and I think at that point as well, like Phil's was, you could interact, you could chat, but you couldn't ever like really get a good conversation. So when I followed, she was like, "Oh, welcome in, Guff Guff Guff." I called it out like Guffy, and I was like, "Guffy, Guff is fine." Anything like that, like. And I'm glad I told her to call me something shorter because been 2 years plus since then, and like saying the full name every time would have just wasted seconds of their life every day. Denisha's like honestly one of my favorite people as a content creator. Obviously she's just an online friend, so it's a bit hard to call someone like your best friend when it's online, but honestly they are one of them, for sure. And I've always been a super helpful person, and thanks to them I've enjoyed Twitch so much more than I thought was imaginable. And I can actually safely say she is better than Hilza in that regard. Like, absolutely incredible. Through her, like, the community, I found out kind of what Discord was through some other smaller friends and introduced them to Tanisha. and so then we were like the four of us were kind of a strong part of her community, which developed into a bigger community. So the funny thing is, she was only on my suggested list and not, I wasn't part of the raid. But so many people who were part of the raid had like chosen to stay after liking her vibes, as they should, because her vibes are immaculate. And yeah, Filza definitely rated the right person. And it's kind of crazy how much started like so many different things for me. But the funny thing is with Tanisha, she was in a hardcore world. And she's still in a hardcore world so many years later. And that's absolutely incredible. We're all very proud of her for doing that. But the thing is, I never really tried hardcore, but I enjoyed like playing on her SMP with the other people in her community. Also led to me finding other streamers like Eloquent Duck and Jessie Mama. Her community really gave me a lot of people. Every single person I follow that's from like Minecraft hardcore, which is like probably 100 people I follow and genuinely watch a decent bit of, and including like some of my favorite streamers, artists, and etc. that like I'm heavily involved in that community. Literally all came from like Tanisha finding a really good person to raid. Sometimes it would be they find a person that finds another person, etc. But like, yeah, there's so many people that I watch that like I know what I'm talking about because I watched Tanisha's hardcore and stuff. The difficulty of it, the stress, the pressure of it sometimes. So funnily enough, like I'm kind of known more for speedrunning, or being a speedrunner I should say. I'm known quite well across a bunch of hardcore communities. Even sometimes I've been in the stream and been like, oh, I know your name from like Dame stream, Down stream, or Rosary stream. Malcolm, you're not there. Malcolm, big up Malcolm. And I do love when there's a crossover of speedruns and hardcore. The reason I got into speedruns was because of Pizza Hut. And that was originally because of MCC. And I'm not the hugest fan of MCC. I think I was probably more into it back in the day because I really like the idea of like those big events. You can see a magma ravine down there. I should have saw that earlier actually. Well, good thing it is. But yeah, Pizza Hut was an awesome creator. Still is one of the best. And I think I basically went to follow them because I was like, oh, this guy seems to be like the best, like always gets into the final. So I'm gonna watch his POV. And then he also tried speedruns. And when he was trying speedruns, he rated this guy called Nerdy. Now Nerdy, I sometimes take the piss out of Nerdy, I think a lot of people do, but I respect Nerdy so much. He's an absolute legend in the community. He also was friends with Kari, who I ended up finding through recommended because I think they did hardcore. I think Tanisha rated Kari when he did speedruns. And so I stayed because I was like, oh, I'm really into speedruns right now. Back then it was actually kind of trending quite a bit. And Kari ended up doing hardcore later on, but still, absolute G. Bit busier than he used to be in terms of streaming. Absolutely insane, lovely guy. Not insane on his own, but just insanely lovely. But yeah, Nerdy hosted this amazing thing called Speedrun Shoutdowns. I've always wanted him to do since. I think a lot of people that were like there at the time wish it had happened since because it was very exciting. Not just for the people who were in it, who ended up kind of being like legendary in themselves, but also just because of the format of the event. I've seen like different reasons as to why he's not sure about restarting one just yet, but I'm sure in the future there'll be something similar or similar events. Be just as fun. And also, please ignore how bad this door is right now. This is technically my PB, but I know I can do a lot better. I'm sure I will. If you follow me on Twitch, then I'll try and go for sub 20 hardcore speedruns. And I do like doing hardcore speedruns, even though they can be frustrating and obviously they're a bit harder and different things to it. Like you can't death reset, which is a big thing. You kind of need rely on food. But it kind of combines the two things which I do love, but with my playstyle is just more suited to speedruns. Because I think hardcore is a bit slower. You have to be better to be safer. And I think with long-term worlds, I lose track of goals. I'm not too excited. Even if I have big goals in mind and stuff, I kind of prefer to do them with friends, like on SMP or in survival, because I don't want it to like kind of go away. But I'm not really someone who's had a problem with dying in hardcore as such. I've made quite a few hardcore worlds, but I've gone to the Elytra and I've kind of been like, I'm not sure. or like the end was bad, so I was like, I can't be bothered to play. It hasn't suited me yet. Maybe as I grow older, I'll get more into it because I'm kind of going less and less into speedruns. But I digress. The best thing, or like the best reason I can give for why I started speedruns is because of Speedrun Showdown being exciting. But also this guy, Feinberg, who seemed to be absolutely incredible, was one of the participants, and Nerdy rated into him after his stream. Now back then, the average is so like hundreds of viewers these days. When he's lucky, he'll actually get like 1,000 or something. Got like a small rate. But yeah, this guy was like super talented, super raw. He was with Technic as well, and Technic was also very cool. I enjoy watching them, still do. And yeah, the thing with Feinberg is he did like an open Hypixel party. He added me to his party and added a bunch of other people. I was like, oh god, I gotta follow this guy. This is so rude of me. Party not be following. And yeah, like I really enjoyed his community at the start. And again, like it's so important to, when you're building a community, I guess, to like have a good connection with people and be good at talking to people. And he really was. And even while I was speedrunning and going at pace, and obviously this is relative to pace back then was half as fast as it was. Sub 20 was like amazing. But he'd still be really good at reading his chat, and he still really is, which is super impressive for me. When he wants to be, he can fully engage with chat as much as you. It's a very, very, very hard skill, which is why he's just one of the best, not only in Minecraft, but just as a streamer. And yeah, I really enjoyed Hypixel. The only thing where I felt out of place was like, wow, everyone here is really good. And my god, Feinberg was really, really good. I'll have a story about that coming too, about how good I thought he was. So I think I realized like all these guys, they do speedruns and they all like know exactly what they're talking about. They just seem to have correct mechanics. They seem to be good at PvP as well. Everything. They're just good at everything, not just Feinberg, but the people playing. And then Curryway was added in. Now at this point, everyone had been watching Curryway. He was the world record holder. This was the day that his world record got taken by Raynex, who ended up, again, like all these people I'm going to mention, it's because I love them. Raynex is an amazing dude. At the time, I didn't know anything, but I watched his run and I was like, wow, this guy's crazy good. Like, I didn't think Curryway was going to be beatable, but like, wow, Raynex really did it. What is it, 1407? I think the run ended up being, or 1410 that timed. And yeah, I think it was kind of interesting to like be able to meet Curryway that day, but it just felt so cool. I remember him making a Nintendo Switch off when we were playing Guess the Builds, and I was like, whoa, this guy's creative. Little did I know like how creative he actually is. Now I know more about him, but yeah, absolute legend and such a nice guy. Anyone that's talked to Curryway knows. Anyone that's seen the stream knows. Like, he's a lovely, lovely guy. But yeah, I think that's kind of what made me think like I really need to start speedruns. So at this point, I had actually was able to record it in the background. By this point, I was doing like no mic streams and no facecam streams. That wasn't really a stream itself. It was basically just me trying to record me playing with the famous players. I don't think the VOD's there anymore. I wish it was, but even then, it was probably low quality. Didn't really know. It's probably just me dying 100 times as well. Dude, Feinberg kept killing people one time, and then the next round it would be like Curryway kept killing people. They just took turns being like dominating boss. And yeah, in terms of speedrun showdowns, I kind of knew afterwards, like, people don't realize how good Feinberg is. I think when you play with someone, you kind of just get that sense of like, no, there's no way there's anyone better than this guy. Obviously, in retrospect, there's probably a couple people here and there that are better, but it's like Fruit Berries, as in Fruit Ninja and Fruit Berries, who are absolutely both cracked, both of them just as good as Feinberg or better on their day, etc., etc. Like, they were the clear favorites, and I was watching both of their perspectives too. I was huge fans of them. I wanted them to win Speedrun Showdown. But then when I just saw how good Feinberg was, I was like, look, I might not say he's the favorite with Technique just now, but to vote against him seems a bit like counterintuitive when the odds are so good on this gamble. So at 5k Illuminous Fruit Berries channel, 6k on Fruit Berries, and I double bet because it was 99% both times for both rounds. If I won the first round, I got like 42k and 69, 70k and the Luminous, and I ended up like getting that times on a 1 to 99 ratio. So I ended up being like 500k and 600k on both of those chats. While leaving in Feinberg, I kept going into Feinberg's chat. I was like, thank you so much. Like, there's nothing I can do but redeem emotes, but I'll never need a sub to Fruit Berries or Illumina again because I have too many points, and they're not even cheap, but I still can just redeem it every single time. But obviously now and again I'll get sub when I can. They're both in. But yeah, Speedrun Showdowns is a huge part, and I'm so glad that Pizza Hut got me introduced to that, and made me find like all of those HBD streamers. Absolutely incredible, and they've done so much for speedruns, but also just so much to entertain people that like it's kind of underrated. And what Nerdy did to like bring it all together is also, as well as Rainex and Fine. But yeah, so what else is there? So I think I tried out speedruns, and I think one of the biggest reasons I tried out speedruns, so bring it back to Tanisha. One of her current mods called Jessie Mama was just kind of like another chatter there, and I actually had no clue for the longest time that she streamed until I think Tanisha raided her. Like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. So I was kind of like big into her community, and then one time I was really late and up late, which ended up happening when you're on Twitch. You kind of lose your sleep schedule. Side effect, but hey ho, it's fun. And she ended up raiding her other cousin in California called Ludicrously Luke. And Luke like knew nothing about Minecraft, and at this point I kind of like understood a lot because I was doing like a lot more research. I was playing it a lot, and he was like speedrunning. I can't remember what he was going for. I think he was going for any PB. He knew he could do like under an hour, stuff like that. And like, I love Luke so much, and with all due respect to him, I just thought like this guy's inspiring me to play the game because I know I have a good knowledge, and this guy's very new to speedruns, and if he can try it, like why aren't I trying it? There's nothing stopping me from doing it if there are beginners at the game that are doing it. And you know, he wasn't able to finish a run for a while. When he did, it was amazing, by the way. Sub 50, amazing. But he wasn't able to finish a run for a while, but when he did, it was just like so hype. And I knew he was getting so far. I was like, I can try and get this far. Bringing it back to Tanisha for a moment, she actually, with Twitch with Jay, one of the mods, he hosted some speedrun competitions between the community. It was so fun. And I kind of came second in both of them. And part of it was like the end fights, part of it was just lack of communication, because with probably the really good partner I had, we weren't able to voice call because I was feeling a bit ill, and I think they weren't able to voice call either. So there was kind of like lack of comms. So when I kind of died, like they didn't even realize I had to do a lot of traveling. It was terrible. Ended up terribly, and we were still in the end first. I actually pulled off this insane move that we kind of looked at another team that were there at the same time, and we were kind of like seeing who should go first, and we were like, after you. And we'd established like there were some ground rules here and there about PvP itself isn't allowed, but you can always trick your opponent. So we let them go first, and I had some TNT from a temple because after I died, I went to temple for loot to help me like get started. And so I threw TNT and I lit it up into the end portal, and one of them managed to get out, but the other was completely trapped in it. Yeah, it kind of blew up on the other side, and I didn't even know if this would work or not. But when it happened, I was like, wow. I felt so bad, and they were kind of unhappy, but they realized at the end, like, they as part of the strat, like that was part of the competition, it kind of had to be done. But in the end, I think they had beds and they maybe had TNT. And we used TNT on the dragon, but basically they got the final shot while I died to a stupid enemy. Not having a boat or anything, or not even boats. So yeah, that was an intense time, but it definitely motivated me. I was like, I've just shown myself like in a community full of good people, of good Minecrafters and stuff. Like I can match it, I can be really good, and I kind of let my teammate down and etc. etc. But I should show how good I am. I should keep doing this. Maybe if I look into the mods, it won't be too laggy for stream, etc. I can get something going here. I tried it. At that point, Bastion struts were known about because of Kuraway watching and stuff. But I entered into a seed. I just got like gold as normal. I traded. I saw Fortress, so I got the rods that I needed, and I ended up looking at the seed afterwards, and I was like, oh wow, there was a Bastion on the side. E-raying never existed back then, so if had I E-rayed, I would have been able to like scan it. But because I was just playing at a very small render distance, because there were no mods to really help back then and no F3 knowledge and stuff, I literally had no clue that I basically had a Bastion. Would I have done well? No, I didn't know anything about Bastions back then. But it's just kind of interesting. I always think about that. Indeed, if I could go back to it, right? I'd probably sub 20 hit. And there, I died in the stronghold at 50 minutes. There was some lava, and I basically just fell off into it like an idiot. Tends to be a recurring theme in my channel, but yeah, I realized like, wow, first time I've ever done a speedrun. I almost finished it in under an hour. That's like so good on a leaderboard. So let me keep doing this. Like, this is my niche. I don't need to do hardcore. Let me keep doing this before I try. Spoiler alert, I never really I tried to do all advancements hardcore. I died in that. A few times I've died while having a shield, which is a little bit embarrassing. As in, I used the shield didn't work, I died, and I was like, yeah, okay, nice. I'd be better off without it. But yeah, for sure. I was really enjoying speedruns, really enjoying it. And eventually, the thing is with my streams is I started off with Hypixel. I started off with Guess the Build and Hypixel. I never did Bed Wars, I was never too into that. If I was, then maybe I would have done better here, been better at Minecraft, but hey ho, it just wasn't a thing. But yeah, Guess the Build, 2 render distance, really nice and simple, no face cam, no mic. And eventually people were like, I was like talking about like, oh, I don't know if I should get a mic because it's quite expensive. And I don't want to use my laptop one because it's shit. One of my best friends in good mods, but they were like, well, you know, I'd rather hear a shit mic and hear you talking, understand it, than have no mic in a way, because at least it's a bit more engaging. I was like, okay, I'll use my laptop mic, and that went well. And after a while, I was like, okay, so why don't I just get a real mic now? Like, I can get one. It's within my budget. I've made like a bit. Be happy to get a mic. So this isn't the mic. I won this in a competition. Be happy with it. Might be upgraded soon, but we'll see. But yeah, I got a decent mic, Razer Mini, and stream quality was a little bit better. And one day, I didn't want to do the whole overhype it and make myself nervous, because I was always nervous. Not always, I was so nervous about like facecam. I think anyone that's not used facecam kind of their biggest worry ever. Like, oh my god, what if I turn? But I didn't do it by accident. I just kind of, without announcing it, without saying anything, without mentioning it in title, I just put my camera on, and I was just playing Guess the Build, and I just kind of let people walk in the stream, and people were kind of like hyping, and it was not in a good way, like in a good way, but like not in the way I asked them to or anything. They were like, oh yo, check out this guy's stream, he's got face cam on, he's got face cam on. I was like, yo guys, chill, don't promote me. It's not a big deal. I'll keep the cam on, don't worry, it'll happen every time now. So even if I have no facecam streams because I'm feeling like ill or whatever, I'll still try and put the camera on right at the end, just I'm saying bye to people. I think at this point I'm more comfy with it. I probably shouldn't be because I've gotten fatter, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm really glad that I made this camera and mic later on. I think it enhances my stream. It's made for some very good moments, some very funny clips, very funny soundbite too. Yeah, especially while speedrunning, you can kind of see the sadness in me sometimes. You can really see the sadness in when I fail at speed, or you can see the hype in me when I do well. And it, like, in terms of engagement, that's good, but just in terms of my own feeling, you know, I'm not just doing it for the cameras. I'm not going like, let's go for the cameras, but you know, I know that there are people there watching, so I want them to also be involved and feel good because I'm feeling. So yeah, that's basically me. I don't really know what else to talk about. Basically, I'm just thankful to Nisha for introducing me to so many kids. One thing I'll talk about, and right now I'm listening to their music, hopefully it makes it to the video, is Tanisha rated someone called Mizbro. Um, really beautiful stream in terms of how they were. Looks as well, of course. And congrats to them because they recently failed. But Mizro was also how I found someone called Music Man. Music Man is an absolute legend, as goes by the name, musician, but also a Minecrafter, and someone who's really been inspirational to me in terms of like sometimes life lessons, sometimes motivation. Sometimes I've had to be there for them and trying to help them. They got into speedruns. I followed them for hardcore originally. They had an amazing world, really good builder too. They're just cracked. They're just talented at everything. But they were also starting to get into speedruns, and I watched like some of their older speedruns. I think he did it in hardcore as well. Off with, and I wasn't like, I don't want to say I wasn't too invested, but I guess I was only learning speedruns back then, so I didn't like say much. And then later on, when he was trying speedruns and doing it again and again and again, I was like, hey, I know a thing or two. So eventually we had like one call over it. The most help I could say was probably that one call where I kind of explained things like how you go find a fortress from the nether, because I just felt like over text it was very frustrating for both of us to try and be like, well, what do you actually mean? And I was like, well, I don't know how to explain it, I just don't. And yeah, for sure, I think one voice call can definitely make a huge difference to people's understanding, especially with Mal. He's very good at it. But yeah, Mal's an absolute legend. Very thankful for him. It is Thanksgiving today, so I was in his stream earlier and I was like, very thankful for you, Mal. And also Tanisha for being able to find me these amazing. Now, more recently, I've been watching Grady, Jamie Jones, aka Jammers, Switchback Mongo a bit, who I all found through Tanisha, but they also found each other through the same kind of medium. And I'm just loving that the hardcore community, they all managed to find each other. Now here I'm lagging like hell. So this is not the best one cycle. But for sure, I love that I'm trying my hardest to like be the centerpiece. I don't want to say the centerpiece. I'm trying constantly to make there be a big bridge between like speedrunning and hardcore. And like maybe I can help it when I do hardcore speedruns, but the communities are both amazing. I haven't got like, I can't say everything's perfect, obviously. I've had some bad experience in MCSR, which I've left video. Less so in hardcore MC, to be honest. I think the community is a bit more mature there. Funny and stuff. But there's a massive crossover, and some of the people like Freshly Frozen, Grady, Switchback Mongo, Amy Joan, Big Me, that have like gone into speedruns and done hardcore before. I absolutely love it. Rosary and Taudan as well are absolutely amazing. They're all such amazing personalities and some of my favorites. So inspirational too. I'd like to consider all those people as friends too. Parasocial friends. Because while they can't like, you know, give me a real hug in real life, sometimes just having someone online to talk to, give you advice, and back and forth, make sure you're there for them because they're got to treat them as such. Something really nice, and it's something that I think is amazing. I wish that in Minecraft speedruns the community was just bigger because it's so full of amazing people, and I think so full of underrated people that, you know, without like can't say without bringing view counts, like you get 1 view or they get 0 views, get very views and stuff, and it's just like, or maybe like 10 or 20 if they're doing well, but just like hundreds of people could love these people, hundreds of people could watch and enjoy them so much if they gave them a chance, I think. So yeah, that's my thing. I really want to show that speedruns and hardcore have a good connection with each other because the communities are amazing. Obviously there's other communities that cross over. There's Pause thing, Skyblock, people into Hermitcraft and SMPs. All of it's amazing. Minecraft's just amazing. You do amazing things. You can make note blocks, you can make Monopoly games. All the same. Those are the things I love. You can just build with people. You can actually make friends. Love games. Oh, Steve. Very amazing. But one I'm really happy that I've gone into, and it seems a bit childish. I play this with my little cousin who's 7, now she's 10, and still sometimes play it together. And it's kind of the best way to be able to connect with her and have something in the background. Always a bit more ready to talk to me. And maybe she's not had a good day, not really sure how to say it, but I can start talking to her about Minecraft. Talk to her about, like, oh, let's be careful here, how school's going, and do that. Even if she can't open up to me on that day, eventually, at least I've made her feel better. So it's just important to make people feel better. I'm so glad I'm in 2 big communities that do that, but also through all the people I've met that really made me. Yesterday, I was definitely feeling worse about a trip I had, or that I don't have anymore. But I have some other friends to I'm okay always, and they make me no love lost to the I used to be with, because I'm always happy to make friends, and not from the content creator perspective of watching people that just are really cool but also really different. A lot of people are. A lot of people, they know how to run their stream because they're completely different, original, and they embrace that. Have the fun. Gonna be happy. And sometimes I'm finding myself like, what am I really doing? What am I really gonna do that's making? Am I really gonna do hardcore again when I'm sure about it? But use I'm really gonna do speed runs when kind of all I know, but maybe out things, building things. Then I'm bad at building, so maybe I should practice that before being on stream. Yeah, my name's been Guffy. Hopefully I've edited this well to include all the names I've mentioned. I'll try and leave some in the description if I can. I'll promise to leave all of them in. They mention a lot, but to all those people, they're amazing so much. Definitely check all of them out. All of them out that you can. Shout out to my mods, Sathya and Ash and Panic, Rooney, everyone else that mods. Been absolutely legendary to look after me in my stream offline as well when they those are the things that are suit, and maybe it goes like less under the radar and stuff because it's off stream, but mods are like those. I have a lot of respect. They'll take the piss out of it. VIP is also kind of amazing, but but definitely difference if you're in a small streamers chat, and it's always funny to me. I said this before and I'll say it again. It's always funny to me, people will be like, oh, you got a dead chat right now, 10 views, dead chat. Like, bitch, it's a dead chat because you made it dead. You could have said anything. You had the ability. There's other people not talking fine. You had the ability right there and then to actually engage yourself, to like say hi, hello, how are you, what's your favorite cheat. Like, you could have said anything and it would have gone dead chat. Just saying that to piss others, like, whatever you want, and you're literally going to be the first person in line to get the answer there and then. Yeah, that's my least of concerns on Twitter. There's racism, which I'm not going into. Trying to avoid racism, as I've seen as soon as I had face cam on. But, as well as sexism, experience, but yeah. I mean, that's it. It is on the. But yeah, anyway, in Guffy, talking a bit more really real, a bit more really real. And yeah, I don't know if I'll ever do a video like this again, but definitely felt like a good ranting video, a ramble video, just to get myself and talk a bit more about like why I joined MCSR. I enjoy it. why I still enjoy the Minecraft hardcore community. So something I really enjoy playing, but watching it kind of helps set the watch our actor building too. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, and I'm out, and I'm gonna stop rambling. 3, 2,